Parents, your teen is trying, like really, really trying, but their symptoms seem to be getting worse. Now, does that mean that they should stop whatever they were doing? You see, many parents panic when symptoms flare up during recovery. But this is actually normal. I am here to tell you. And today I will explain why this happens and what to do when it happens. So let's dive in. Hi, my name is Dr. Lee. I'm a pediatric health psychologist and the founder of Teen FND Academy, which is an online group coaching program to help teens with FND and ambitious parents like you to really resolve the condition through practical tools and strategies so then you can get your life back and feel like normal again. Now, if you're new to this channel, welcome to this club of FND that you didn't sign up for, I can tell you. However, I have a lot of educational materials and information and free resources that are helpful for you. So make sure to subscribe, like, and share this video. So today I have three main points to talk about why these flare-ups happen and what to do about it. So first of all, I want to make sure that you understand this really clearly. When it comes to teen FND, let alone teen FND recovery, the recovery is never ever linear. So it's not like your teen is getting better every single day. It's always going to have this up and down, almost like a roller coaster. And that is actually normal. So it's really important for you to know that if you're expecting the recovery to be linear, then you are basically destined to feel super frustrated and panicky, right? So kind of get rid of that notion of the recovery should be linear because it never is. I have worked with hundreds of teens who have FND and not a single one, not even a single one who had this clean, linear recovery when it comes to FND. One day they are feeling great, and the next day they're like, not good, so it's all of that. How soon, how much, how up and down really depends on the teen. However, it's never ever linear. So kind of get rid of the thinking. Number two, part of the reasons why the recovery is not linear has something to do with this scientific term called extinction burst. So it's basically a fancy name for your child gets worse before it gets better. Now, I am strictly talking about when your child is applying the right thing with the right mindset, when it comes to recovery. Now, if your child is not doing anything, then this may or may not apply. So just based on the assumption that your child is doing something right with the right mindset, then what's happening is that your child's brain is basically trying to resist the change, especially in the beginning, because our brain doesn't really like to change. And so it's better to stay on autopilot as much as possible. So then the brain doesn't get tired or drain energy and all that stuff. So when your child is doing something different in response to whether it's a symptom or flare up or whatnot, then this thing called extinction burst, aka it gets worse before it gets better, happens. So this is really the temporary symptom spikes that is expected. And that's why it's never ever linear, and then it's always this up and down. So let me explain a little bit about this extinction burst. So how does that go? So it has nothing to do with FND, but I'll give it an example that I use. This is kind of classic. Let's just say you're waiting for an elevator and you press a button to call for an elevator. So what if the elevator button does not light up? I bet you that you're going to do something like this. You press a button once and then you press a button a few more times and see if you actually press a button and see if that button or the elevator actually is working, right? So like you press once and then nothing happens, and then you press a few more times. That pressing a few more times is exactly the example of extinction burst. So your behavior or pressing the button goes up like crazy before it goes down. Because if you keep pressing the elevator button and then you realize, oh, the elevator is actually out of service, then you don't keep pressing the button forever, do you? What are you going to do? You stop pressing the button and then you realize, okay, we're going to do something about it. Either take the stairs or escalator or do something else to go up and down or do whatever you need to do, right? But you already know at least the pressing the button isn't going to do anything. So the pressing the button extinguishes basically. So that's why it increases before it kind of goes away. Similarly, FND recovery, it's been there and then you do something different and then the symptom flare up happen before it goes away. And it's not just a one-time thing. That's a kind of mysterious part about FND, but it requires this third point of having to practice on a consistent basis. Which, by the way, did you know that the flare-ups are normal during the recovery process when it comes to FND? I mean, leave me a comment about what you knew about FND and the recovery. I read every single comment and I want to interact with you. So back to the video. The third point is, as I mentioned a little bit earlier, instead of pulling back of whatever your child was doing, focus on consistent progress with proper pacing, autonomic nervous system regulations, and then all of the other mindset and other work that I have been talking about on this channel. So here's the deal. The retraining the brain and body, it takes time, and it also requires consistency, more importantly. So rather than focusing on the symptom itself that includes flare-up, start focusing on how you and your child can respond when and if a flare-up happens, both physically and then mentally. So for you parents, what you can do is know that recovery isn't linear. You already know that. And then you already know about this extinction burst. It gets worse before it gets better. So you can kind of sit back and knowing, okay, this is expected, and that means my child is doing something right, and my child is safe, and it's okay. So then you can kind of start to relax a little bit. And then your child is also kind of on the same page. Okay, this is expected, it's normal. That doesn't mean I'm having a setback. No, in fact, it's all part of adjustment period during the recovery. So then you and your child can approach the flare-up with less panicky feelings, which is really, really important. The other thing is, it is not just about what to do during an episode or flare-up. It is really about what you and your child are going to do and practice on a good day on a regular basis. And so I use this sports analogy in my online coaching program, Teen FND Academy, a lot. And it goes like this, mostly because there are a lot of athletes in my program. Let's just say that you're an athlete and I'm your coach, and I am teaching you something new in terms of skill or tool or tips or whatever. And then I actually tell you, now, this is a new technique that you can use, but don't do anything for the next 1 month until we have a national championship game, and then only then you use the technique, just right there and then. The question is, you as an athlete, how would you feel? Do you feel, oh, okay, I just need to listen one time and then I don't need to do anything about it for the next month until the national championship day, and then I know exactly what to do? Is that how you feel? Because when I say this to my teens in my program, they're like, that's not going to happen. And I said, oh, why not? And then they would say, well, you have to practice. So you know exactly what to do and you can use a thing, that new technique. And I'm like, that's exactly my point. When it comes to these regulation strategies and then tools and whatnot, you don't hold on to that thing until you actually need to use it. You got to practice it so it becomes part of who you are and part of muscle memory. So then when you need to, you're like, I know exactly what to do, right? So that's exactly the same analogy for the FND recovery as well. Now, if you're worried about setbacks, I hear you, but what if you actually start thinking about it is part of the recovery process and adjustment period rather than going backwards? Things like this, I can help. And in fact, things like this, I have been helping my families who are in my online coaching program, Teen FND Academy. Now, keep watching the videos on my channel so then you feel less panicky and feeling more equipped to deal with the FND recovery process, including the flare-ups, right, along with your child. However, if you're serious about recovering from FND along with your child for real, once and for all, and want the personalized support from me, then click the link below and schedule a call to talk to me and see if you qualify for my program, Teen FND Academy. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you in the next video.